The budget-making process in the Philippine government is a systematic, multi-step procedure involving various government agencies and actors. It is designed to ensure that public funds are allocated, spent, and monitored according to national priorities, legal frameworks, and development goals. Below is a detailed review of the steps involved in the budget-making process in the Philippine bureaucracy broken down by phase.
Good morning everyone, my name is Clifford Anton C. Tamsi, and today I will be discussing the budget-making process in the Philippine government, which comprise 4 phases. Number 1 is
Budget preparation. The budget preparation phase begins months before the start of the fiscal year and typically starts in the middle of the preceding year. These are several key steps occur in this stage. The first one is issuance of budget call. The Department of Budget and Management, or called DBM, issues the budget call which provide guidelines to government agency on preparing their budget proposal. The call is aligned with national priorities, programs, and economic condition. The second step are agency budget proposal. Government agencies and departments prepare their budget proposal based on their programs and priorities. They submit this proposal to the DBM, and followed by consolidation and evaluation. The DBM evaluates this proposal and consolidates them into the proposed national budget. This involves ensuring that proposed projects and expenditures align with national goals, financial limits, and overall economic priorities. And the last one are presidential review. The DBM submits the final proposed budget to the President, who review it, makes adjustment, and approve the final version before submission to Congress. Number 2. Budget legislation. The budget legislation phase involves the review, amendment, and approval of the budget by the Philippine Congress. This phase is a legislative process that ensures democratic deliberation and oversight of government spending. In this phase, the first one is submission to Congress. The President submits the proposed budget to Congress, specifically the House of Representatives, typically by the 3rd week of July each year. In short, this stage is about getting the budget from the President to Congress, where lawmakers will decide if they approve it, make changes, or ask for adjustment before the final approval. And after that, committee review. The House Committee on Appropriation conducts a detailed review of the budget proposal. Public hearings are held to allow agencies and stakeholders to present their proposed budget. After that, House deliberation and approval. After the committee's review, the budget is debated by the full House. Amendments may be made, and the budget is eventually approved in the form of General Appropriation Bill, or GAB. So, this step is all about the House of Representatives reviewing, discussing, and agreeing on the final budget before it's sent to the Senate for further review. Senate review. The GAB, or General Appropriation Bill, is then transmitted to the Senate, which also conducts deliberation, review, may propose amendments to the budget. In simple terms, the Senate checks the budget next, talks about it, and might suggest some changes before it moves forward. After that, bicameral conference committee steps in. If there are differences between the House and Senate versions of the budget, a bicameral conference committee is formed to reconcile these differences and come up with the final version. Sometimes, the House of Representatives and the Senate don't agree on the same version of the budget. They might have different ideas about how money should be spent. The bicameral conference committee is like a negotiation team that helps the House and Senate agree on a single budget before it goes to the President. Then after that, the final approval. After reconciliation, the final version of the budget is submitted to both chambers of Congress for approval. Once both the House and Senate approve the GAB, or General Appropriation Bill, it is sent to the President for signing. This step, or final step, is about making sure both the House and Senate agree on the budget, then sending it to the President to make it official. Number 3. Budget execution. Once the budget is approved and signed into law, the funds are released and government agencies begin the implementation of programs and projects. And these are the key steps of budget execution. Issuance of Special Allotment Release Order or SARO. The DBM issues the SARO, which authorizes the release of funds to the government agency according to approved budget. In short, release of funds. The DBM or the SARO is the official approval from DBM that allows government agencies to start using the money allocated for them in the budget. The second one is obligation and disbursement. Agencies then obligate funds for their respective projects and programs. This involves entering into contracts, purchasing goods or services, and disturbing funds. Expenditures are made in accordance with the approved budget. Here's an easy way to understand obligation and disbursement. Obligating funds. Once government agencies have the approved funds after receiving the SARO, they need to commit or obligate those funds to specific projects or like programs. This means they make formal agreement like signing contracts or placing orders for goods and services. In simple terms, this step is about government agencies making official agreements to spend the money on their projects and then actually paying for this project or services. And the third one is monitoring and oversight. The DBM, together with other agencies like the National Economic and Development Authority or NEDA, monitors the execution of the budget to ensure that expenditures are consistent with the allocated amounts and national objectives. After the money is released, the Department of Budget and Management and along with other agencies, they keep an eye on how the money is being spent, ensuring proper use of funds. They make sure that the government agencies are using the funds the right way, sticking to the budget and spending with the approved amounts. In simple terms, this step is about keeping track of how the government spends the money to make sure it's used properly and for the right purposes, not for other things. And that is the three key steps for budget execution. 1 is issuance of the Special Allotment Release Order or SARO. Number 2, obligation and disbursement. Number 3, monitoring and oversight. And number 4, the final phase, accountability. Accountability ensures that the funds spent are being used efficiently, legally, and effectively. This phase focuses on monitoring, auditing, and evaluating the use of government funds. And these three key steps for accountability. Audit and evaluation. Audit and evaluation, the Commission on Audit, COA, conducts audits to verify whether government funds are spent appropriately. COA ensures compliance with laws and regulation governing the disbursement and use of public funds. So, in simple terms, COA is like a watchdog that makes sure the government spend money correctly and follows the rules. And the next one is reports and accountability. Government agencies are required to submit reports detailing their financial activities. This report helps ensure that the funds were used properly and any discrepancy are investigated. In simple terms, this step is about agencies reporting how they spent the money so everyone can make sure it's all done properly and follow up if something's up. And the last one is legislative oversight. Congress plays a role in ensuring accountability through its oversight function. Committees may hold hearings to assess the performance of agency in utilizing their budgets and ensure that government priorities are being met. Legislative oversight is Congress' way of checking in to ensure that the money is being spent the right way and the government goals are being achieved. So, before I end my presentation, here's a quick recap of 4 phases comprise the Philippine budget process. Number 1 is budget preparation, budget legislation, budget execution, and last one is accountability. So that's it everyone. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I hope you enjoy and learn from my presentation. Once again, I'm Clifford Anton C. Tamsi from BPA 2B. Thank you.